Hello. Welcome to day 3, getting over your ex. Well done for doing day 1 and day 2 if you've done that so far. So I want to talk about limiting beliefs today. So the things that we tell ourselves, our brain will execute, and I kind of touched on that in day 1. But basically, we really have to watch what we tell ourselves in everything. And actually, this isn't just to do with getting over your ex, but any limitations that we put on ourselves. For example, if I tell myself that I'm not a runner, I'm probably not going to run a marathon. But if I tell myself I love running, then my chances are more likely that I potentially would run a marathon. But it's all about the messages that we send ourselves and how we talk to ourselves, but also about ourselves in front of other people. So if we say things like, I'm never going to get over him, we're never going to get over them. So we have to be really conscious of that. And also we have to be conscious of what we limit ourselves to. For example, all the good men are taken, or women, or non-binary, all the no one will ever like me, I'm not good enough, why would anyone want to go out with someone with 3 kids? You know, whatever it is that you may be saying to yourself, you have to be conscious that your subconscious wants to prove you right all the time. So your subconscious would rather be right than be happy. So it will constantly execute the things that you tell it subconsciously to support the way that your brain thinks. Yeah. So where was I going with this? 2 secs. Let me check my notes. So basically, when you were with your ex-partner, there will have been things that you were able to do, and there will have been things that you felt like you couldn't do, potentially being with him. Like, for example, my ex definitely had enough money for us to have a really nice home, but he was really, really tight, bless his heart, and so I'd have to get everything from a charity shop, which I actually love. I love charity shopping, but he wouldn't just let me buy stuff for the home, and everything was like a joint decision. So I always felt like everything was really just bland, and now I'm like, if I want to paint my front door pink, I'll paint my front door pink. So what I want you to do today is list all of the things that you can now do that you were not able to do before. And that might be going and learning salsa dancing, or it might be going, it might be that you have every Wednesday free now in the evening because you know, he has the kids, if you've got kids together, or you know, you're now free at the weekend, so you can join that thing that you always wanted to do but you felt a bit guilty for doing, or whatever it may be. Like I said yesterday, a lot of what's difficult is letting go of that image that you had in your head. So now what we need to do is really strengthen the new image that we need to, and sow those seeds, because a lot of the time, like I said, your brain is going to try and take you back to this much scarier place of, I'm going to stay where I am because it's too scary to think any bigger. Yeah. So I want you to really think about why this could be the best thing that ever happened to you. So we have been saying it to ourselves, hopefully, and hopefully you've been thinking it and saying it, and yeah, this could be the best thing that ever happened to me. But why could it? What possibly could happen from this point that makes it the best thing that ever happened to you? So for me, I'm just going to paint you my picture of what happened. So when I was with my ex-partner, I am a photographer, and I did photography very much as a hobby job. He used to actually take control of all my finances, and he used to take all my money. So at the time, I had 2 girls that worked for me, and we pretty much split what we made. Anyway, when we were doing that, that, you know, it didn't matter to me when we were together because I didn't need money and he took it off me anyway, so what difference did it make? But obviously after that, when I had the prospect of being a single mom, I was absolutely terrified. Obviously, you can imagine. So I was terrified, and I had this little business that probably I was making about £800 a month. Anyway, I realised that I either needed to go hard and really, really like grow this like tiny little company into something that, sorry, tiny little business that was potentially a company. And I did that. And then I got a shop. And I know when I told him I was getting a shop, he said, you don't need a shop. Of course I didn't need a shop. No one needs a shop. But I was like, no, I do actually. And I know, and I know this sounds silly, but I would not have been allowed to get a shop. I would not have been allowed to take that much of a risk in my own dream, because he would have told me that I couldn't do it and it was too much of a risk and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so that's just an example for you. But in your life, like, what limitations have you placed on yourself? What I'm really talking about is, what limitations do you place on yourself in your everyday speech, and start to notice them. But also, what limitations did he place on you? Did being with him place on you? What could you not do that you now actually can just spread your wings and fly off? Yeah. What had you stopped yourself from doing? I'm just reading through my notes again. And yeah, so today also I'm going to set you the challenge of dropping into conversation. And I know it's harder at the moment because we're probably having less conversations, but drop it into conversation, put it in your Instagram story, put it in your, like anywhere that will, tell it to anyone that will listen, your mum, your nan, your neighbour, your cat, whatever. I want you to say to them, this breakup is going to be the best thing that's ever happened to me, and say it with real conviction. And start to believe it, yeah? So every single day we're walking that same path, so we're sending more pathways down it. But I want you to add on because, and tell me the because, and tell them the because, and you can write it in your notes. But I don't know where you guys are with manifesting and what you put out there, but I'm very much of the belief that whatever I tell myself, I execute. And I know that I told myself from as early as I found it comfortable to, that when me and my ex split up, that it was the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I promise you that it has been. And for him as well, you know, I have no bad feelings to him. He annoys me, of course, all the time, and I annoy him. But not in a hatred way, in a humans annoy each other, right? But anyway, so backtracked, sorry. So yeah, so I really, really want you to think, why could my life be better? Allow yourself that little tiny bit of headspace to imagine how it could be better and why, and what limitations that you no longer have on you based on that person, okay? There's other bits in the workbook, and I'll send them to you if you want them. But yeah, and also again, tell me how you're getting on, tell me how you're feeling, what any of this has brought up, what day 2 brought up for you, what this makes you think of, let me know, okay? Thanks guys.